And at number 10, Jennifer Lawrence. This is one you know we had to include. Jen is known for her quirky and down-to-earth personality and not taking herself too seriously. She's also quite the klutz, which she proved after she tripped while walking up to the stage to accept her Oscar for Best Actress in 2013. After she got up to the stage, the crowd gave her a standing ovation, and she said, quote, "You guys are just standing because you feel bad that I fell, and that's really embarrassing." And this isn't the only time that Jennifer has fallen. She actually fell at the Oscars again while on the red carpet a few years later. This Oscars klutziness has caused some to think she's just faking it all for press.
At number 9, Hattie McDaniel. Back in 1940, legendary actress Hattie McDaniel was nominated for an Academy Award for her work in Gone with the Wind, and she actually ended up winning the Oscar. However, because of segregation at the time, she was almost unable to accept the award because she was black, and they almost didn't let her attend the ceremony. Back then, the venue where the award ceremony was held was a whites-only establishment, so people from the studio that made the film had to pull a lot of strings to get the actress in the building, and even then she wasn't allowed to sit with the rest of the cast of Gone with the Wind. Instead, she was seated in the far corner of the venue away from everyone else, but as long as she was there and able to accept the award, that was enough. She made history that night and caused scandal, but it just showed Hollywood that racism will never win.
And at number 8, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. The whole world fell in love with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper when they were starring in the movie A Star Is Born. The on-screen chemistry between the pair was so amazing, many fans thought there was definitely a real connection between them. The rumors about these two got even crazier when the pair performed a ballad from the movie at the 2019 Oscars, and the chemistry during the performance was hard to deny. Lady Gaga had also recently broke up with her fiancé Christian Carino around this time, leading many to think it was because of jealousy. And then during their performance, Bradley's longtime girlfriend Irina Shayk was sitting in the audience, which made things even more awkward. The whole situation got a ton of buzz for the movie, but might have had real-world consequences as Irina and Bradley split up shortly after.
At number 7, John Travolta. Now, I wouldn't really call this one a scandal per se, but it did have a lot of people talking and laughing about it, so I just had to include it. In 2014, John Travolta created one heck of a meme, and you probably remember it. At the Oscars that year, Idina Menzel was supposed to perform Let It Go from the movie Frozen, which was kind of the hottest movie at the time, and John Travolta was supposed to introduce her to the stage. Well, instead of introducing Idina, he instead welcomed someone named Adele Dazeem.
Gorgeously empowering song, Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen. Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
This mishap was incredibly embarrassing for both parties, as it created memes within minutes and was even the subject of a John Travolta name generator where it would scrabble your name like Adele Dazeem. Even though it was super cringy, there's actually an explanation for the whole unfortunate ordeal. According to John, Idina's name had been changed on the teleprompter at the last minute so that it was spelled phonetically because they didn't want to risk him messing it up. John hadn't rehearsed with the name spelt like that, so rather than the change help him out, it actually just made things so much worse, and Adele Dazeem was born.
And at number 6, Eminem. In 2003, the Oscars category for Best Original Song was jam-packed with big contenders, including the fan-favorite Eminem track Lose Yourself from 8 Mile. Lose Yourself actually ended up winning the award, and nobody was more shocked than the rapper himself. After he won, Eminem did not get up on stage, and one of his other collaborators accepted the award on his behalf, saying that Eminem was not able to make it that night. But the truth is that Eminem was so convinced he would not win the award, he didn't bother to show up. In an interview later, he was asked about that night, and Marshall admitted that he was actually asleep when it was announced that he won, which I'm sure the Oscars were not happy about.
At number 5, Ryan Seacrest. This one is more of a personal scandal than a high-profile one, but I'm gonna tell you about it because my boy Ryan was super hurt by it. Imagine being invited to one of Hollywood's biggest events just to get kicked out moments after you arrive. Well, this is basically what happened to Ryan Seacrest, as he was invited to the Oscars award ceremony one year and was kicked out of the awards show shortly afterwards. According to Ryan, he was invited to the award show to provide the segue from the pre-show event to the main award show, which in itself is a pretty big honor, but after he completed his task, he went to go find a seat because he assumed that he would be staying for the rest of the show, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. While he was looking for a seat, he was approached by the event's ushers and managers and was told, quote, "Mr. Seacrest, your car is ready." He was a little confused and was like, no, what do you mean? I just opened the show," to which they replied with, quote, "We don't have a ticket for you, Ryan." He continued recounting that experience, saying, quote, "They put me in a car and they drove me out, and the next thing I know, I'm on Hollywood Boulevard going away from the Oscars, and the LAPD are on the corner, the windows down, and they say, 'Hey Ryan, you're going the wrong way,' and I say, 'No, I'm going the right way.' They sent me home to watch on television like everyone else. He was pretty butthurt about it and maybe still holds a grudge for that, but at least he was able to get comfy at home.
And at number 4, the 1974 Oscar streaker. This one's a little less known, but since most award shows are live broadcasts, it's understandable that some people might try and take advantage. That's exactly what happened at the 1974 Oscars when a man decided to run naked through the broadcast. The man even flashed a peace sign while he ran past the presenter, David Niven. Niven was hardly fazed and responded by saying, quote, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was almost bound to happen, but isn't it fascinating to think that probably the only laugh that man will ever get in his life is by stripping off and showing his shortcomings." And honestly, probably the shadiest thing that I've ever heard.
At number 3, Sean Penn. Actor Sean Penn got into a bit of a scandal at the 2015 Academy Awards. The actor was announcing the award for Best Picture, but before reading the name of the winner, Alejandro G. Iñárritu, he made a joke that definitely did not land and actually offended quite a few people. Before announcing Alejandro as the winner, Sean joked saying, quote, "Who gave this son of a B a green card?" Sean's joke was seen as highly offensive and racist because of Alejandro's background, as one person online explained, quote, "Struggles people endure for immigration justice are not punchlines." As Alejandro is Mexican, the joke definitely was uncalled for and inappropriate. Some defended Sean, saying that he had only made the joke because they had been friends for about a decade, but others made the argument that, quote, "A director of color can't accept an Oscar without being the butt of a racist joke." The award show was supposed to be a scandal-free evening, but instead news outlets took to broadcasting Sean's offensive remark.
And at number 2, Marissa Tomei. Before we had the infamous Moonlight La La Land mix-up, there was a popular conspiracy theory going around claiming that Marissa Tomei did not actually win her 1993 Oscar. Instead, the presenter just said the wrong name and everyone went along with it. This theory was started because many were shocked to see that Tomei had won instead of her well-established competition. As well, following the event, The Hollywood Reporter printed a blind item about rumors that she hadn't really won. They claimed the presenter, Jack Palance, was too intoxicated to read it right, so he just read the last name as the winner. It was such a big rumor the Academy had to deny it many times. After the La La Land mix-up, we know that if she didn't really win, someone would have made it right.
And finally, in at number 1, Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen is quite the jokester and is known for his wild characters. From Bruno to Borat, he seems to almost always be in character, and this was seemingly no exception at the Academy Awards in 2012. Sacha was at the event and walked the red carpet in character as Admiral General Shahbaz Al-Addin from his film The Dictator, and along with being accompanied by 2 bodyguards, he had a prop with him, a golden urn filled with the pretend ashes of North Korean Premier Kim Jong-il. While walking the red carpet, he stopped to be interviewed by Ryan Seacrest, and then this happened.
The interesting thing is it's actually made by South Korea. No, sorry. You've got Kim Jong. You've got Kim Jong-il.
Sacha dumped the ashes on Ryan, ruining his suit and causing quite a scene at the event. Weeks later, we found out that Sacha's original target was actually George Clooney, but since it was a pretty big night for him, they skipped Clooney and the unfortunate prank landed on Ryan instead. After that, Ryan purposely steered clear of Sacha, refusing to interview him, and the Academy has been vigilant of Sacha's stunts, even though they haven't really been able to stop them since. At number 10, Streaker. Like I mentioned before, the Met Gala is one of the most prestigious events of the year. Image is everything when it comes to the gala, and there's a lot of effort that's put into making sure that things go smoothly. So when there's any kind of hiccup, then things go south pretty quickly. Take for example one unruly quote-unquote guest who was not invited to the event, but who showed up anyway. At the 2014 Met Gala, everyone got quite the shock when a man wearing a hot pink mankini and gold chain ran through the event. He really tried to come in hot there, but since this was such a high-profile event, every precaution was taken and the man was stopped and barely even reached the red carpet. This event has so much security because you never know who's going to do what, so luckily there were enough staff to clue in to watch what was going on and stop it before things got too out of hand. This streaker, who remains unidentified, still got his 15 seconds of fame though, so I guess maybe he's happy enough with that experience. At number 9, the Kardashians. Apparently the Kardashians are banned from a lot of Hollywood events, like the Oscars for example, and for a while there, they were also unwelcome at the Met Gala. Though they are obviously welcome there now, that's only because they got the plug from Kanye. Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue, apparently had something against the Kardashians and even went so far as to call them the quote, antithesis of fashion and class, end quote. sassy. She allegedly banned them from attending the Met for years, and being a prominent trustee and financial holder at the Metropolitan Museum of Art where the function is held, her ruling stuck, at least until Kanye came into the picture. Apparently Anna and Kanye are very good pals, so once Kanye came into the Kardashian family, Anna couldn't refuse him, and so she allowed the Kardashians entry. Some thought that since Kanye and Kim aren't together anymore, that Anna would take back the Kardashians' invitation, but I guess maybe they've entered into Anna's good graces since then. Now before I carry on talking about these celebrity scandals, I would like to first take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because it really helps the channel out. At number 8, cultural appropriation. Every year the Met Gala has a chosen theme, and the people who attend the event are urged to show up in some kind of couture that fits said theme. For a lot of celebrities, they work alongside some pretty prestigious designers to come up with the perfect look for the gala, but sometimes they can go too far and end up offending people in the process. Take for example some of the Met Gala looks from 2015. The theme of the gala that year was, quote, China through the looking glass, and a lot of people found that many of the stars who attended the event that night were appropriating Chinese culture. Many fans took to the internet to criticize a lot of the looks from that night, saying that too many of them fell into Chinese stereotypes and appropriated much of the culture and history. Among one of the most heavily criticized celebrity looks was Sarah Jessica Parker's headpiece, which was criticized for its, quote, dragon lady stereotype. A lot of fans made the point that these celebrities could have just worn pieces from Chinese designers to fit the theme rather than appropriate the culture. At number 7, influencers. The Met Gala is such a high-profile event that you have to be personally invited in order to attend. Well, I mean, you have to be invited and pay roughly 30 grand to attend, but it's still a very prestigious event. Or at least that's what people used to think about it anyway, because there are those who say that in recent years the exclusivity of the Met Gala has really decreased ever since influencers have started getting invited to the event. In recent years, influencers like Liza Koshy and James Charles have been in attendance, and at this year's gala, social media stars like Addison Rae, Dixie D'Amelio, and Madison Beer walked the red carpet at the Met. A lot of people don't consider these internet personalities and influencers as celebrities, and so they don't see them as welcome at huge Hollywood events like this. But what is your take on this? Do you think that internet celebrities should be welcome at events like these? And if not, where do we draw the line on who can and can't come? Is the question of how did you get famous going to become a criteria for events like these? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. At number 6, Naked Box Man. Basically every year at the Met Gala, bold fashion statements are being made. We have people dressing like Dementors, like Kim K did at the event this year. We have people wearing political statements on their clothes, and they even have people bringing insane props with them on the red carpet. But back in 2017, one person made too bold a statement and actually got kicked out of the event because of it. An artist by the name of Fyodor Pavlov Andreevich was going to attend the Met and decided to be extra bold with his quote-unquote look and decided to get naked and stuffed in a fiberglass box. Upon arriving at the event, 2 people carried the artist inside the box into the event's checkpoint, and that's really as far as they got there. One of the guards told them that they had to take the artist away, and they later put a sheet over the box and dragged him away while he was still in the box. Authorities were soon called and the police asked the artist to exit the box, to which he refused, so they arrested him, charged him, and threw him in jail. Really, the takeaway from this is don't be too bold at the Met, and most importantly, wear clothes. It is a fashion event. You can't go to a fashion event without the fashion part. At number 5, Tina Fey. The Met Gala isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Not everyone has to be into the whole idea of wearing funky clothes while walking around with other high-profile celebrities. One person who really isn't into all that, it seems, is Tina Fey, because she once had some harsh words for the event. Tina was invited to the Met Gala back in 2010, but apparently she didn't have a very good time. 5 years later, she opened up about the experience while doing an interview with David Letterman. In the interview, Tina ranted about the gala, calling it a, quote, jerk parade. She also went on to say, quote, every jerk from every walk of life is there wearing some stupid thing. It's just everybody. If you had a million arms, it's all the people you would punch in the whole world, end quote. It's a little harsh, but I guess it's kind of valid. At number 4, Lena Dunham. Celebrity beefs are nothing new. Everyone has beef with everyone, but it turns out that at one point a celebrity feud happened at the Met Gala, and it caused some controversy and scandal at the time. At the Met Gala in 2016, Lena Dunham ended up making some comments about Odell Beckham Jr., and it caused a bit of a stir. Dunham alleged that the football player spent the whole evening ignoring her because she, quote, didn't fit his standard of woman, end quote. Speaking out about the way that she believed she was being treated by Odell, Lena went on to say, quote, "It was so amazing because it looked like he looked at me and he determined I was not the shape of a woman by his standards. It was like we were forced to be together and he was literally scrolling Instagram rather than to have to look at a woman in a bow tie. I was like, this should be called the Metropolitan Museum of Getting Rejected by Athletes," end quote. But none of that was actually true though. Odell wasn't trying to be rude, he was just kind of existing while at the event, and Lena just made assumptions. She got called out for her quote, narcissistic comments and later issued an apology for them. At number 3, Demi Lovato. Speaking of beefing with celebrities, we have another story about some drama that caused someone so much discomfort that they literally had to leave the Met. Back in 2016, Demi Lovato was in attendance at the Met Gala, but they didn't end up staying for the whole event. Demi spoke out about how uncomfortable they were that evening, saying that someone was so rude to them that they had to leave the gala and go to an AA meeting. Demi told sources that, quote, "This one celebrity was a complete B-word and was miserable to be around. It was very cliquey. I remember being so uncomfortable that I wanted to drink," end quote. Now, no one knows for sure who this B-word that Demi was talking about was, but a lot of people seem to believe that it was Nicki Minaj because of a photo that was posted that shows Demi giving Nicki some serious side-eye. There was clearly some kind of drama going on, but other than how Demi was feeling, we don't have many other details as to what happened that night. At number 2, smoking. In most establishments, there's a rule against smoking. I mean, back in the day, apparently you could just smoke everywhere and anywhere, but not these days. That rule isn't really anything new, but there are still those select few who choose to disregard that and do it anyway. This is how a scandal was caused at the Met Gala in 2017. A handful of celebrities who attended the gala that year were caught smoking in the venue's bathroom, and that was a serious no-no. Every year, the Met Gala is held at the Metropolitan Museum, and since it's in New York, the city health department has a rule against smoking in specific areas as per their Health Act. But it seems that although this rule was still in effect at the time of the gala, some celebrities were like, nah, and had a couple ciggies inside regardless. The stars in question were posting their little rendezvous on social media, which is how they got caught and got into some trouble for it as well. As a result of their rule breaking, the gala as well as the health department put measures in place to make sure that this kind of thing never happened again so that no one would get fined. And finally, at number 1, Solange Knowles. The famous Solange versus Jay-Z elevator battle is one of those moments that will go down in history as one of the messiest celebrity moments. It was a lot to take in at the time because no one knew what was really going on or why this Avenger-style battle was even happening. The freakout slash fight slash battle to the death took place at the 2014 Met Gala, and though it took place so long ago, there still was never really any solid explanation for this scandal. Some speculate that it was because of a cheating scandal, others thought it could be money, but really there is no confirmed reason as to why the fight broke out. All we have to analyze from this is surveillance footage that was leaked to the internet that got this whole drama started. In the footage, we see Solange and Jay-Z begin what looked like a verbal disagreement, which then turned physical. My guess is that Solange was standing up for her sister and sort of flipped out on the rapper, and this, like I said, sparked cheating rumors, and then this then folded into Beyonce and Jay-Z's music, where again, infidelity was hinted at. Bottom line here is that this fight was explosive and caused a lot of drama.
Alright, and at number 10 we have Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart did the unthinkable after winning her 2009 MTV Movie Award. She dropped and broke it. Kristen had won the award for Best Female Performance, and after she gave her speech, she went to walk off and dropped the award. Apparently the drop actually wasn't that big of a deal because recipients don't take the award home with them, it gets engraved and then shipped to them later. But a rep with the award said that when Kristen received her brand new award, she was actually disappointed because they didn't give her the one that broke. Kristen's mother even called to try and get the broken award tracked down, but they never did. All in all, fans weren't too shocked because Bella would have done the exact same thing. Bella Swan, that is. And at number 9, Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie had everyone in shock when she kissed her brother multiple times at the Oscars. And when I say kiss, I mean kiss on the lips. Her brother James Haven was her date at the Oscars that night, and they had kissed many times on the red carpet. Then Angelina won an award for her role in Girl Interrupted and made an interesting comment about her brother during her speech. saying, quote, "I'm in shock and I'm so in love with my brother right now. He just held me and said he loved me, and I know he's so happy for me, and thank you for that." Kinda strange thing to say in an acceptance speech, but okay. After the moment became condemned online, Jolie clarified that her parents loved seeing them kiss, adding, quote, "It wasn't some odd open-mouthed kiss. It was disappointing that something so beautiful and pure could be turned into a circus." You guys let me know your thoughts on this one below. I'm sure it's very controversial. And at number 8, Britney Spears, Madonna, and Christina Aguilera. One of the most iconic moments that ever took place at an award show was the kiss between Madonna and Britney Spears in 2003. A lot of people don't actually know that after the Britney kiss, Madonna then kissed Christina Aguilera as well, although that kiss was barely caught on camera. Apparently, fans thought Britney found the kiss between Madonna and Christina a little awkward because she didn't expect it, but it was all so fast that I doubt anyone even noticed. This moment has went down in history for being very controversial, but over the years people started to care way less about the scandalous kiss. And at number 7, John Travolta. When you're presenting an award at an award show, immense pressure is on the presenter to get everything right. One thing that might be a given is to get the nominees' names right. But for whatever reason, John Travolta was not prepped on how to say Idina Menzel's name and totally butchered it. While introducing Menzel for a performance at the 2014 Oscars, Travolta welcomed, quote, "the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem." Interestingly enough, the blunder significantly raised awareness of Menzel, and she commented, quote, "It's definitely one of those welcome happy mistakes that changed my life," she told the New York Post. She joked that the name caught her off guard for a few seconds, but she still powered through her performance anyway. And at number 6, Katherine Heigl. Back in 2010, Katherine Heigl suffered a serious wardrobe malfunction in the middle of her acceptance speech. Katherine won the award for Female Star of the Year at the Show West convention, and as she was going up on stage, one strap of her dress just snapped, and she was left holding it in place while she tried to give her speech, so she wouldn't flash everyone at the show. Thankfully, the host of the event, Billy Bush, stepped in to help and grabbed the back of her strap so she could get a few words in without holding herself together. After the speech, she went backstage and found a pin to secure things in place and looked perfect in the photo showing off her award. Thankfully, disaster was avoided here. Halfway at number 5, Marissa Tomei. Before we had the infamous Moonlight La La Land mix-up, there was a popular conspiracy theory going around claiming that Marissa Tomei did not actually win her 1993 Oscar. Rather, the presenter messed up and everyone just went along with it. The reason everyone thought there was a conspiracy was because Tomei was the underdog and wasn't the favorite to win. She was actually the least expected because all the actresses in her category were much more experienced than her. The biggest reason this gained traction was the day after the show, The Hollywood Reporter printed a blind item about rumors flying in Manhattan that she hadn't really won. They claimed that the presenter, Jack Palance, was too intoxicated to read it right, so he just read the last name as the winner. It was such a big rumor the Academy had to deny it many times. After the La La Land mix-up, we know if she really didn't win, someone would have made it right. And at number 4, Ian Somerhalder. This incident seemed super shady at first, but once you watch the clip over, it seems more like a misunderstanding. During the 2014 Teen Choice Awards, Ariana Grande won an award and ran up on stage to get her surfboard. Ian Somerhalder was the person that was giving her the award, and as she ran up on stage, it looked like Ian was attempting to kiss her on the lips, so Ariana decided to swerve and give him a cheek kiss instead. After the mishap, many felt the whole incident was kinda shady, but after looking at the clip a few times, I think Ian was just going for one side of the cheek, and Ariana was so confused so she offered up her other cheek, making it look a lot more shady than it actually was, but the infamous moment is still memed to this day. And at number 3, Nicole Kidman. One of the things people love to do most is mock anything strange that they see celebrities do at award shows. The strangest thing that's ever been seen is Nicole Kidman clapping. During the 2017 Oscars, after Meryl Streep won an award, the whole audience was clapping. But when the camera turned to show Kidman, her clapping was very strange. Her hands were stretched out and she was only clapping with the palms of her hands, but not her fingers, kinda like this. Because of the angle, her hands also looked insanely long, somewhat reptilian-like. After the meme blew up, she explained that she was loaned some expensive jewelry and didn't want to scratch it by clapping, adding, quote, "I was like, gosh, I want to clap, I don't want to not be clapping, which would be worse, right? Why isn't Nicole Kidman clapping?" And at number 2, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj had everyone on edge when she took the time during her 2015 VMA acceptance speech to call out the host Miley Cyrus. The call out was because Miley made some negative comments about her in the press. While accepting her award for Best Hip Hop Video, Nicki Minaj finished off saying, quote, "And now back to this bee that had a lot to say about me in the press the other day. Miley, what's good?" Miley handled it very well and quickly congratulated Nicki on the win and said the media twisted her words. Miley's original comments were relating to Nicki's feud with Taylor Swift. In that interview, Miley called out Nicki for not being very nice, which I guess she kinda proved at the award show. And finally, number 1, Michael Moore. Michael Moore is best known for his controversial documentaries. He actually won an award for one of those documentaries, Bowling for Columbine, at the 2003 Oscars. And many weren't surprised when he took his opportunity on stage to make a political statement. He said, quote, "We live in fictitious times where we have fictitious election results that elects a fictitious president," he said of then President George W. Bush, even bashing Bush for sending the country to war for, quote, "fictitious reasons." And even though you'd expect a liberal crowd like the attendees at the Oscars to eat up his anti-conservative message, they actually booed him off stage. Many think this reaction was because 9/11 recently happened before that, and the country was united against their common enemy.
In at number 10, Roman Polanski.
And the Oscar goes to Roman Polanski for The Pianist.
Back in 2003, Roman Polanski had won the Oscar for directing The Pianist. However, due to him not showing up, Harrison Ford had to not only present the award, but accept it on his behalf. It's amazing that Polanski was still even considered at all for this category. After pleading guilty to having an unlawful relationship with an underage woman, he fled the US before he could be sentenced. So his status of refusal to accept the award probably came from the fact that he legally cannot be in the United States or else face jail time. He's like, "No, but I'm good." We're sure that's why you're good. In at number 9, Woody Allen.
The Academy congratulates Woody Allen and accepts this award on his behalf.
Thank you.
Woody Allen has won a total of 4 Oscars but has only attended the event once. That clip was from 1978 where Allen won the Oscar for directing Annie Hall, but due to his refusal to accept, they had to accept it on his behalf. The only time that Woody Allen touched the stage at the Oscars was in 2002. It was less than 6 months following the attacks of September, and Allen wanted to tell the audience that the Big Apple was still a wonderful place to make movies. After the awards, Allen said, "I have no regard for that kind of ceremony. I just don't think they know what they're doing. When you see who wins those things or who doesn't win them, you can see how meaningless this Oscar thing is." Well said, Woody, well said. You creep. In at number 8, Paul Newman.
Ladies and gentlemen, accepting the award for Paul Newman, the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, Mr. Robert Wise.
Paul Newman had a very understandable beef with the Academy after being nominated for the award of Best Actor 6 times and never winning. Yet year after year, Paul showed up because he was nominated and patiently waited again and again for his big win. By 1987, Newman had 2 honorary Oscars and 6 nominations to his name before finally winning for his role in The Color of Money. Although the one time that Paul actually won, he didn't show up. Later he told the Associated Press, "It's like chasing a beautiful woman for 80 years. Finally she relents and you say, 'I'm terribly sorry, I'm tired.'" I love these statements, like, damn, again, I'll say it. Well said, Paul. Well said. In at number 7, Banksy.
Here are the nominees for Best Documentary Feature. Exit Through the Gift Shop, Banksy and Jamie DeCruz.
For those of you who don't know who Banksy is, he's an anonymous British street artist that is known around the world for his sometimes very political pieces. He's done everything from graffiti to full exhibits showcasing his work. A film was even made about him in 2010 called Exit Through the Gift Shop. It was a documentary that followed around some of the top street artists as they went through their process and tried to avoid the authorities while doing so. Banksy, being the anonymous character that he is, did appear in the film, but his face was hidden and his voice was altered to protect his identity. When the film was nominated for an Oscar, Banksy agreed to attend, with his only request being that they do not reveal his identity. Well, the Academy did not see the value in that and refused to accommodate his request. So instead of showing up to the Oscars, Banksy did what he does best. A couple days before the event, this mural suddenly appeared in Los Angeles. The mural equates the Hollywood elite to the Galactic Empire from Star Wars. And I just love the stormtroopers working the cameras while the Oscar statue is altered to appear in the image of a true artist. More specifically, a Banksy. In at number 6, Eminem.
Goes to... Woo! The Oscar goes to Eminem, Jeff Bass, and Luis Resto for Lose Yourself.
In 2003, the category for Best Original Song was jam-packed with big contenders. Eminem's Lose Yourself from the movie 8 Mile was against Burn It Blue from Frida, Father and Daughter from the Wild Thornberrys movie, The Hands That Built America from Gangs of New York, which had Bono writing on it, and I Move On from the movie Chicago. All of these had amazing musicians behind each track, to the point where even Eminem himself didn't think that he was going to win. Eminem thought the Oscars were just for actors, so number one, he thought, why would I win this? And number two, he thought, why would I show up for that? In an interview later on, he was asked about that night, and Marshall admitted that he was actually asleep when he won the Oscar. Instead, his co-writer Luis Resto had to accept the award on his behalf. In at number 5, JeanLuc Godard.
As you know, the master, unfortunately, can't be with us here tonight.
For those of you who don't know who JeanLuc Godard is, he's a very talented filmmaker from Switzerland that has been creating since 1950. In his early days as a film critic, Godard took aim at the way that mainstream French cinema had a tradition of quality, instead of focusing on innovation and experimentation. In late 2010, the Academy wanted to give Godard an honorary Oscar, although there was a slight issue. JeanLuc never answered their calls, and when asked during an interview what this honorary award meant to him, Godard said, "Nothing. If the Academy likes to do it, let them do it. But I think it's strange. I asked myself, which of my films have they seen? Did they actually know my films?" And later on during that same interview, he was asked why he never attended, and to that, Godard said that he doesn't have a visa to fly into the US, nor does he want to apply for one, adding, "And I don't want to fly for that long." Fair enough, JeanLuc, fair enough. In at number 4, Katharine Hepburn.
There is Katharine Hepburn and Golden Pond.
Oh, how I love that awkward moment during all of these Oscar win announcements where the presenter says the person's name and then there's no movement, and now they just have to awkwardly stand there as someone else comes up to accept it. Hepburn has hated the Oscars for most of her career. She has been nominated for 12 Oscars and won 4 of those, although every time she has chosen to avoid the night altogether. The only time that she decided to attend was in 1974. Katharine had been asked to present producer Lawrence Weingarten with a Thalberg Award, and during the ceremony though, Katharine said, "I'm very happy that I didn't hear anyone call out, 'It's about time.' I am living proof that a person can wait 41 years to be unselfish." I mean, you gotta give it up to this strong leading lady for that kind of commitment as well. In at number 3, Dudley Nichols. Unfortunately, I wish we could have some sort of clip for Dudley like we did with everyone else, but the reality is, Dudley is the OG of refusing Oscars. In fact, in 1935, he was the very first person to ever refuse the award. Dudley had won Best Screenplay for the film The Informer, a film about the Irish War of Independence. His reason for boycotting the event was over an ongoing dispute that Dudley had with the Academy and the Writers Guild. The LA Times even recorded that he tried to give back his award, like he was returning a pair of jeans. Eventually, he was able to return the award, and with it he attached a note. The note said, "It would be to turn my back on nearly 1,000 members who ventured everything in the long drawn out fight for a genuine writers organization." I mean, how powerful is that? Like, you remember when people used to stand for something? You go, Dudley, you go. In at number 2, George C. Scott.
Oh my god. The winner is George C. Scott.
Accepting the covenant. Much like Dudley, George had a real problem with the Academy and the way they operated. In 1961, he received a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, but he told the Academy that he didn't want it. Furthermore, he told them that he disagreed on the principle of the award. George thought that the Oscars were simply a competition that pitted fellow actors against each other. Because of this controversy with the Academy, George would not be nominated again until 1971. However, the first year that they had him back in the nominations, this time it was for the Best Actor category, and sure enough, he won. And not only did he refuse to accept the award, or any of the nominations before that, he didn't show up at all. He went on again to insult the ceremony further, calling it, and I quote, "a 2-hour meat parade, a public display with contrived suspense for economic reasons." Powerful George C. Scott. I love that he decided to just dig his heels in further with his stance against the Oscars. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Marlon Brando.
Hello, my name is Sasheen Littlefeather. I'm Apache,
Marlon Brando truly is the Godfather. Not only does he not show up to accept his award, but instead he sent a Native American woman to refuse it for him. You can see in the clip that the presenter extends the statue out to her and she just holds up her hand like, I'm good, chief, I'm good. And the woman said that her name was Sasheen Littlefeather, and at the time she was a little-known actress and president of the National Native American Affirmative Image Committee. Brando believed that the Native American image had been completely disrespected by the film industry, so his reason for refusing the award was due to the treatment of American Indians, but the crowd could not accept that. Midway through Littlefeather's speech, the celebrity audience members started booing her, and then later on making very crude comments towards her. Yet regardless of what they thought, this speech remains as one of the most powerful moments in Oscar history.
And at number 10, Donald Trump. Donald Trump attended the Met Gala numerous times with his wife Melania in the past, because New York socialites and even political figures are often invited to the Met. However, after he became president and enacted very controversial laws, he was banned from ever attending again. Many rumored he might be banned after many controversial statements, but this is one of the few people that Anna Wintour herself actually confirmed will not be invited back. And if you didn't already know, Wintour has been the editor-in-chief of Vogue since 1988, and she handpicks every person who is invited to the Met Ball. When Anna was asked during a segment of James Corden's Fill Your Guts or Spill Your Guts who she would never invite back to the Met again, she swiftly replied, Donald Trump. And at number 9, Kim Kardashian. These days it's hard to imagine a Met Gala without Kim Kardashian. When Kim was just known as a reality star back in the day, Anna revealed that she would not be inviting her to the Met. Apparently in 2012, Anna was adamant about not inviting Kim to keep the prestige of the event. A source even told Page 6 that, quote, Anna hates Kim. However, that all changed in 2013 when Kanye brought a pregnant Kim Kardashian to the Met Gala as his guest, which is something that Anna could not refuse. Since then, Kim has become a staple in high fashion and elevated her brand to be one of the most influential people in the world. And these days, the fashion world cannot ignore the Kardashian influence, and multiple Kardashian sisters are invited to the Met each year. And at number 8, Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn is incredibly well known in the fashion world and is somewhat of a staple on fashion television, as he starred in shows like Making the Cut and Project Runway. But even though he is fashion royalty, he said the wrong thing about Anna Wintour and has paid the price with his invite being permanently revoked. In 2006, Gunn was asked to recall the most unforgettable thing he's seen in fashion by the New York Post, and he answered, quote, watching Anna Wintour being carried down 5 flights of stairs by 2 bodyguards from a fashion show. Anna didn't like these comments, so Vogue asked for a retraction, but he refused, and his invite was taken as a result. He's claimed that he's been in a war with Anna and her team ever since. And at number 7, Khloe Kardashian. Most of the Kardashians get invited to the Met every year, with Kim, Kendall, and Kylie being staples at the event. Even Kris Jenner gets invited most of the time. However, neither Kourtney or Khloe have ever attended a Met Ball. Apparently that's because Khloe is banned, and Kourtney has never been relevant enough to grace the very A-list event. But it was rumored that Kourtney and her boyfriend Travis Barker were actually invited to the esteemed event this year, which would have been Kourtney's first Met, but Kourtney decided not to go for the sake of Khloe. A source said, quote, Khloe and Kourtney have never been invited to the Met Gala, but Kourtney was invited to this one and chose to stay home with Khloe because she didn't want to leave her alone. Another part of this is that the Met is known to be Kim's event, and she prefers that her sisters do not go so she can shine solo. If you're wondering why Khloe gets the cold shoulder, apparently she's too C-list for the event. And at number 6, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj went viral on the night of the Met because she tweeted that she didn't attend the event because of the vaccine requirement. She tweeted during the event, quote, they want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel that I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe, wear the mask with 2 strings that grips your head and face, not that loose one. She added in a follow-up tweet that her cousin in Trinidad won't get it because his friend got the vaccine and became impotent after, finishing, quote, so just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. And I can assume that after calling out the event for their mandate, she will not be asked back. Halfway at number 5, Coco Rocha. Coco Rocha is one of the most well-known models ever, so it's strange that she never attends the Met anymore. But apparently Katy Perry is the reason that she's been blacklisted. In 2017, Katy Perry was one of the co-chairs of the event, which means she has an elevated role in the event and even has a hand in the guest list. The feud between these ladies actually happened years before in 2013 at the MTV VMAs when Katie wore the exact same Emmanuel Ungaro dress that Coco had worn to that year's Met Gala a few months before. After Perry wore the dress, Coco joked about it in an interview in a way that Perry found offensive, so they've been on bad terms ever since. When asked about why she wouldn't be attending the Met Gala back in 2017, Coco Rocha told the Post, quote, "I don't know, you'll have to ask Anna Wintour that." In at number 4, Tina Fey. Tina Fey is hilarious, and she's well known for poking fun at her own celebrity and not taking herself too seriously, which aren't things that go well at the Met. After she attended the Met, she shared her experience with David Letterman in 2015. When asked if she had gone, she responded that she had, and that it was, quote, "such a jerk parade," adding, quote, "every jerk from every walk of life is there wearing like some stupid thing. I dragged my husband along with me, which I'm still in trouble for." But she didn't stop there. She added later, quote, "if you had a million arms, all the people you'd want to punch are there." And it seems that after those comments, she knew she would not be invited back, and she added, quote, "clearly I'll never go again." And at number 3, Josh Hartnett. Banned is probably a pretty strong word for the treatment of Josh Hartnett. A better term would be not relevant enough to attend. And there are tons of celebrities that are not famous enough to attend because fame is always changing based on whatever project celebrity has been a part of. The biggest sting against Josh specifically is that he was shown in a documentary about the Met called The First Monday in May, wherein Calvin Klein's team called up Vogue to request a seat for Hartnett, and they harshly responded, quote, "what has he done lately? Nothing. You guys are all set." Based on this response, it's clear that he's not banned for life, more so temporarily banned until he gets cast in something noteworthy. And at number 2, Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer is another celebrity that's made a name for herself by making fun of everything. But of course, making fun of the Met is gonna have some consequences. In 2016, Amy Schumer was asked about the event while on the Howard Stern show, and she said, quote, "it's people doing an impression of having a conversation. I don't like the farce. We're all dressed up like a bunch of effing a-holes." Adding, quote, "I have no interest in fashion. I don't care. I left earlier than I should have been allowed. I got to meet Beyonce, and she was like, 'is this your first Met Gala?' and I was like, 'it's my last.'" So again, Amy was self-aware that she either would not be invited back, or she knew she just wouldn't attend again even if she was invited. And finally, number 1, Demi Lovato. Demi has only been to the Met Gala once, and it seems that one time might be their last, either because they won't be invited back, or Demi just won't want to go. Demi spoke about their time at the gala with Billboard and said it was a horrible experience, saying, quote, "I had a terrible experience. This one celebrity was a complete bitch and was miserable to be around. It was very cliquey. I remember being so uncomfortable that I wanted to drink." This was very shocking because this was around the time that Demi was trying to get sober, and apparently the Met set her back off course. Demi added that they went straight to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting after the Met, saying, quote, "I changed my clothes, but I still had my diamonds on. Millions of dollars of diamonds on an AA meeting." There was also a big scandal involving Nicki Minaj that followed the event. Nicki didn't tag Demi in a photo of them after the ball, to which Demi called her out for. This started another war, making the night even more awful for Demi than it was before.